Hello, loves. Hello, hello. Hills here from the Blue Flame. How are we all doing? 2026 is really starting off with quite a lot of movement, isn't it? The energy, the current, the cosmic turning that we are experiencing right now is really gathering steam and speeding up. And today we're going to explore in this energy update a really gorgeous energy that is working in conjunction with the Capricorn New Moon. The Capricorn New Moon is occurring from our earthly perspective at 11:51 a.m. in the Pacific time zone on the 18th of January. And it is occurring with the sun and the moon at 28 degrees of Capricorn, continuing our tradition that began with the Libra equinox right around that time of 28-degree new moons. This is going to take us into a Ring of Fire solar eclipse on the 17th of February as well. We'll get there shortly. The energy, the current that we're navigating, and we're going to bring ourselves into this energy with the new moon itself. The sign of Capricorn, the energy of Capricorn is our skeletal system. It is the structure of our bodies, the scaffolding. It is also the skeletal system, the tectonic plates of the earth. It is the energy of Saturn and of Shiva that is the foundational, the support mechanism for all of creation. Now, Saturn has been given monikers of the patriarchy, of our karmic line. Saturn is the Lord of time, right? Saturn is Chronos. It is that energy of linear, progressive movement. Saturn, however, is also the Lord of Dharma, ruling with Capricorn, the 10th house, that MC in your chart, that highest point of the entire astrological wheel, where we start to move into the work we are here to do. And this is the energy of this Capricorn new moon, which I have kept hearing being called the dragon moon. Now, it's kind of interesting because really the Sagittarius new moon at 28 degrees of Sagittarius, which was exactly conjunct one of the dragon's eyes in Draco, Eltanin, E-A-L-A, Eltanin, Eltanin, which is from our earthly perspective, once again, the brightest star in Draco, although it is not actually the brightest star. It's just from our perspective, it appears that way because it's the closest to us. Exists at 28 degrees of Sagittarius, which is where that new moon was. Now, also during that new moon, we're going back into 2025 as we make our way into this new energy. We had a lot going on, didn't we, around 13, the great attractor. Now, the other dragon eye, Rathaban, is at 12 degrees of Sagittarius. So these two dragon's eyes are also movement in alignment with the great attractor and the galactic center. Now, Rathaban also at one point, no, that's not true. We're going to reverse that. Eltanin at one point will become brighter than Sirius. It will become closer and closer. Our orbital pattern is moving it closer and closer to us. So why then, if this Sagittarius new moon that we had in December was so much more aligned to these dragon eyes, to the head of the dragon of Draco, is this Capricorn new moon the one that is being monikered through my channel as I contemplate the energies and open to receive the we of it all? Why is this one resonating so much to the dragon moon? There's a few reasons, and we're going to start to move into them now. So we mentioned, yes, that at 28 degrees of Capricorn, we find the sun and the moon. At 26 degrees of Capricorn, we find an exactly conjunct Mars and Mercury. Mars, now morning star. Venus on the other side at 1 degree of Aquarius, now evening star. Mars and Venus and Mercury transiting. Mercury as we move towards the maiden moon, towards the full moon. As we move out of the Capricorn energies and into the Aquarian energies, we'll pass through Venus as well, moving this energy, coming into greater contact with. And Venus, a couple of days after the new moon, just as the sun is tipping into Aquarius, in fact, will transit through Pluto. So this time period between the 18th and the 21st of January, we're seeing movement in the subtle realms. Aquarius is a fixed sign. The fixed sign is our subtle realms. The fixed signs are also related to those structures that move more slowly. Those structures that move more slowly. The Cancer full moon, we played and we journeyed with that energy of the song lines and with all of these stellar conjunctions and stelliums in Capricorn. The song lines are those electromagnetic pulsations, those ley lines, those grid lines that move through us. It is the magma, right? The marrow of the bones. There's another kind of line known as the dragon lines. The dragon lines are different. The dragon lines are physical, structural areas of the earth, of our body. It's the slower seeming movements. Now, when we begin to move through Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, we are coming through the end of the astrological wheel, the 10th, 11th, 12th houses. We're coming into a more elevated point of view. So that as we then start our next turn around the wheel, we do so from a higher perspective. It's all a spiral dance. It's all a spiral dance. So Capricorn, working with these structural energies, these tectonic plates, while over in Sagittarius, the asteroid named for the rose dragons, that Kuan Yin Hathor sort of energy, that empowered compassion, detached service, energy. We'll be at 29 degrees of Sagittarius, working in conjunction, in union with Altanin, the brightest of the two eyes of the dragon. Now, Altanin is a red-orange shift star. So here we can start to feel that the rose dragons, which are so connected with the second chamber of the heart, are working with our safety and security and our creative fire. And red-orange is the same color as magma. We are working with safety and security during this Capricorn new moon. Now, this is also the last lunation of new energy, of birthing energy of the wood horse, or sorry, of the wood snake. The wood snake, the way that the visions have been coming in is almost phoenix-like. We are shedding, and we have shedded, and we have allowed to burn away all the trappings of the old ways, the old thought patterns, the karmic energies, if you will. And the wood snake now is basically a pile of ash as we come into this new moon. A pile of ash with little embers glowing in it. Pile of ash with little embers growing in it. Those embryonic forms of the fire horse, which as we move into the ring of fire solar eclipse in February, will gallop forth. So we find the sun and the moon, Mars and Mercury, all experiencing movement in the tectonic shifting energies of Capricorn. Also there we find Sophia, Hecate, and Juno. These ones a little further into the energy, by which I mean back. Sophia, in fact, is almost exactly opposite Jupiter, still retrograde until the end of the month, into February. Still retrograde in Cancer. So expanding our ability to conceive belonging in a new way. The way that we once identified with ourselves through others. These comparisons, releasing as we come more wholly, more fully into the truth of ourselves. During this Capricorn new moon, we also find Sekhmet, crowned, seated empowerment. Sekhmet. Right there with the North Node in Pisces. Rising up. Everything about this new moon is taking us into the liminal spaces. That's all that Aquarian energy. It's all that Aquarian energy with Venus and Pluto and the sun just a couple of days later following into that plane. Mercury and Mars shortly thereafter. Moving us into a greater state of empowerment. Uranus still retrograde at 27 degrees of Taurus, is working with the third eye, working with the third eye of Medusa, where her head is held in Perseus's hand, decapitated, releasing our physicality from limitation, from the curses of old. Algol, this star, which is the third eye of Medusa, was once called the demon star. Once called the demon star. But this was simply because the perspective, the ability to see, to understand what was actually happening did not exist yet. Algol is a binary system. And from the ancient perspective, it appeared to disappear every couple of weeks, which made it very untrustworthy if you were using it as a way to direct yourself. However, as our capacity to see more, to understand more, increased, so too did our knowledge that this star was simply eclipsing itself. It would disappear as the larger star passed over, and then come back and be brighter as the larger star was behind, shining more brightly. And through this conjunction with Uranus, we are also being invited to awaken more, not simply from what we see before us, but that which is behind us, lighting up our shadows. If you think about what it means to be backlit, everything is a halo of light around you. Feel that auric energy. And then we remember as well that it is that union that really lights up the world. We are also, during this lunation, experiencing the final week of Neptune in Pisces at 29 degrees, exactly sextile. Exactly square. Oh, words are fun this update, aren't they? Exactly square. The rose dragons and working with that Altanin energy. So we're moving into a new capacity, transcending old self-limiting ideas about what I am means, as we prepare for the massive shifting of energies that occurs as we come into the month of February and the eclipse cycles begin, and we start to move into the whole energy of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. This is a massive, massive energetic shifting. Now, we can look at this as a splitting, an opening of energies, a fault line, as this Capricorn New Moon works with the tectonic plates. It is cracking us open, cracking our hearts open. That's that rose dragon energy. Inviting us to hold space for those who are making their way to the bridge, to hop over, to make that cosmic leap with the fire horse to the other side, to the other timeline, to the higher vibratory nature. Now, it's very important to say that as this splitting apart widens, we are asked to hold space for wherever we are and wherever everyone else might be in our immediate and not so immediate vicinity, with that detached service of the rose dragons, with that empowered compassion, to let go of judgment of, I'm over here, so I must be better than, because that is the old comparative narrative. That is the shit that we are being guided to let go of. When we hold our truth, when we hold our truth, our state of being secure, the need to judge or compare burns away. And this is part of that ash, right? This is part of that ash of the wood snake that is creating that fertile ground for the embers of the fire horse to emerge from. Let me feel. As we continue to move through this energy, I'll share that in the Blue Flame Apothecary portal over on Circle, we will be having our new moon transmission and activation, during which we will be working with these tectonic plates, and in particular, the evolution of the Earth's and our physical beingnesses, chakra systems, the expansion that has been occurring for many, many, many years now, from the traditional 7 to the 13 chakras, not just of our being, but of the earth as well, and how this is moving the tectonics of our being, and what we're going to likely experience as they awaken more. This Uranus energy with alcohol will be in a basically exact trine, navigating right in between the sun and the moon and Mars and Mercury, awakening us to capacities of speaking our truth with ever greater clarity, and to be in our bodies more wholly. This next leap is not a leap up and out of our bodies. It is not split timeline and all of a sudden half of the world is existing in the physical and the other half is over here dancing in the astral. It is navigating that place in those spaces where the astral and the physical move together and meet, and bringing our ability to see that which exists in the liminal into our day-to-day movements. As we begin to move through Aquarius and then Pisces season, this is going to speed up. No bones about it. We are in an inflection point. And how we move through this liminal, how we get into our physical, bringing the work that we do into the world in new ways, releasing old stories of how the play is supposed to take place. And especially those old stories about who's right and who's wrong, good and evil. As we come into that next bird's eye view and begin to tell the story of the whole. Now, I just had something come in, so we're going to play with it, okay? In the world of history, it has often been said that the winner holds the narrative. So anything that we read about the Roman Empire, about Egypt, about Great Britain, about what happened when the English and other people came to America. The entirety of the written story of humanity that is available to us in this moment was written from the point of view of the quote unquote victors, which is to say, it is not the whole story. Look at the Bible and the Christian narrative, the Catholic narrative held there, which has so much of the patriarchal energy of the Roman Empire interwoven through. How difficult it is to look back at the stories that have moved through and find any matriarchal energies. How do we find union when the story of the feminine is hidden from view? Part of it comes down to discernment. There are so many stories out there. There are so many narratives. Each one of these comes through the lens, including the things that I share with you, right? Each one of these narratives, each one of these stories comes through the lens of the vocal plane speaking it, through the consciousness, heart consciousness, mental consciousness, physical consciousness of the teller. If the teller is speaking with that expression of highest truth currently accessible to me, you will be able to feel that in your bones, in your blood, in your gut, in your being. Part of what we are moving through during this liminal dragon moon phase is coming into greater trust of what our eyes see, what our heart feels, what our gut knows. And through that and with that mantra of in the highest good, may it be the highest truth, may only that which is in the highest good and is in accordance with the highest truth be received, and shared, we find more connection to our intuitive discretion. And so much of this dharmic phase, as we communicate more freely, more openly, more telepathically with one another, is, well, it's all about frequency, right? Frequency matches frequency. So if you are holding yourself in that space of highest good, highest truth, that which you attract to yourself will also be highest good, highest truth. And what is highest good, highest truth? Love. So if you are walking through the world, seeing the love, being the love, that is what the world will show you. Does that mean you're never going to see something that's not in accordance with your mental body's thoughts of what love's supposed to look like? Absolutely not. You know why? Because that's a preconceived notion. And sometimes, like Kali or Sekhmet will tell you, love comes in forms that we are not used to seeing it in. You know, if we are moving through something that's painful, perhaps it's so that our heart can crack open a little bit wider. We can let go a little bit more and let even more love in. And when we experience these things that our mind tells us is bad, the invitation is to bring that energy into our heart and into our root and feel how it is a fear of safety, a fear of being unsafe that is creating that designation. And if we rise up and remember through our heart that we are safe because we are aligned to love, those preconceived notions of this is bad, this is pain, start to melt away as we remember it's all love. It's all love. It's all love. And all we need is love, as the Beatles say. Will we feel grief or longing? Yeah, probably. As these things unhook from our systems. Part of this transitional time, this liminal time, is allowing us space to see while we're in that ashen form where things that are not in accordance with the new that is preparing to be born are located, kind of like panning for gold, right? You can pull out that which is true and let the rest go. If it calls to you to come over to the Blue Flame Apothecary over on Circle, it would be amazing to welcome you. If it calls to you to leave a comment to this video, to like it, to subscribe to the channel, that would be amazing as well. I am still offering, if it's something you're interested in, the 13th morning transmission and activation, which came through around the time of that Sagittarius new moon with the solstice in December. And it is a transmission of some of the energies that are moving through this cycle of 2026, some of the big ones, and an activation of alignment to the new that is being There'll be a link below that'll take you straight there. There's many ways to engage with the Blue Flame Apothecary here on YouTube, over on Circle, and even within Circle. There's many ways to engage. However you're called to move through this beautiful liminal space as we peer through the dragon's eyes into the new as the fire horse begins to burn. I share with you, as always, in the always, so much and many loves on the dimensions of the all and beyond the beyond. Thank you.